you should. Striptease is a noble art, as even BLACKPINK's Lisa stripped and her famous celebrity friends came to support. Imagine a rural miner girl tempted to a random club by these words. What do you have to say? Lisa's Striptease at Crazy Horse is promoting liberal feminism? If so, what makes Lisa more deserved to cover her private parts than the other women here? Her money? Her fame? Aren't those strippers human? Is it fair when only women of high status like Lisa could cover the private parts while others have to expose them, just using hands in certain positions to cover up their literally naked body? Her striptease is a form of art because the naked statue of David and Venus are greatly praised iconic artworks that even toddlers without supervision could admire. Because Beyonce also stripped for her husband and incorporated some scenes in the iconic MV Partition after being inspired by Crazy Horse's performance. Crazy Horse isn't a club because of the high-level security compared to ordinary ones? Are these your arguments? For the first time on this channel, I'm raising my voice against a controversial problem. A top idol respected for high work ethics, despite knowing many could be offended, knowing this topic is highly sensitive and opinions vary greatly. I think I should, because thinking about the rural girl scenario, isn't it detrimental enough? I have spent about a month doing research about feminism, including the branch liberal feminism, history of Crazy Horse Paris and their marketing strategy, and so I stand firm with my opinions. But I do welcome constructive discussion. The only thing not welcome is shaming any individuals, especially Lisa. So, about why I disapprove of her actions so much, let's first look at the history of Crazy Horse Paris, the place always presenting itself as a symbol of women's liberation, freedom, pride, and empowerment. But everything here seems to be tailored to please men's sensual fantasies. Men's toilets in the form of hot red lips and hallways decorated with bare breasts. The origins of Crazy Horse trace back to Alain Bernardin, who established it to promote the singing career of his mistress, Julianne. But beginnings are seldom easy. After closing its doors and reopening in 1953, the turning point for Bernardin's brainchild was the topless dancer Miss Fortunia. Despite Bernardin's attempts to diversify the performances, it was the nude dancers who continued to define Le Crazy. They are dancers meeting stringent criteria. Height ranges from 168 to 172 centimeters, no surgeries, tattoos, or sunburn marks. Leg length 2/3 the distance from feet to neck. Breasts spaced 27 centimeters apart, and the distance from the navel to the pubic bone is 13 centimeters. Why? According to Le Crazy's producer, Mark Brady, this serves the Crazy Horse's philosophy, turning each dancer's body into a canvas to paint upon during their performances. Here, you can see the glimpse of objectification gradually reveals itself. But that alone isn't enough to conclude Crazy Horse is not doing women any good. So let's continue with the liberal feminism many fans are using to defend Lisa. At core, I want to emphasize that stripping isn't necessarily a bad thing. That's why an advanced country like France legalizes it. Plus, Lisa's defenders are also totally, completely, and wholly correct about the liberating women part. But what is liberated? Definitely not in the good terms of granting women equal choices as men. In theory, core feminist values grant women the right to make choices and decisions about their life, including bodies. My body, my choice. I guess you have at least heard about that once. So, on one hand, striptease is deemed a means for women to exercise autonomy over their bodies. Strippers assert that they are not victims and have the right to choose this profession. And when clubs provide women with the opportunity to exercise these rights, stripping them of that choice is considered to be contradicting the spirit of feminism. But just think about it. Isn't it ironic that women seek liberation by turning their body into a type of sensual goods for men to pay to view their bodies? Isn't that objectification? According to a 2020 study, after 4 clubs opened in Camden, London, rape cases increased by 50% and harassment incidents surged by 57%, based on Metropolitan Police statistics. The presence clubs appears to transform women into commodities, inadvertently normalizing harmful behaviors towards women in their vicinity. Thus, regardless of promises and commitments, all strip clubs, from obscure venues to renowned names like Le Crazy, are not safe spaces for women. Some may argue that Crazy Horse isn't a club because of the high-level security, but it only happens like that because this club targets high-profile audiences. At core, female dancers for money like any other places. About how Lisa's fans mainly hinge on liberal feminism to justify her performance at Crazy Horses as art, this is overgeneralization, and critically speaking, forcing everyone to wear rose-colored glasses when looking at her actions. First, Lisa, being a wealthy and influential celebrity, doesn't represent the experiences of most women. Do you think women from disadvantaged backgrounds would choose careers like stripping willingly? Or they are compelled to do so due to economic hardship? You know how Cardi B stripped because that's the only option she could do to escape her terrible past. The only option, that's what she said. Remember how I previously said Lisa's defenders are completely, totally, and wholly true about the liberal part? Why true? Because it liberates women like Cardi B from their darkest phase of life. Not in the profound sense of liberating women to choose stripping as a prideful profession representing art. How many people can choose to in for the artistic purpose like celebrities? If from the start, most women reluctantly for money, only to wait for the day making enough money to escape this job and erase this part of their life. So what Lisa did was empowering or reinforcing objectification? Second, liberal feminism is just a branch in the whole feminism concept, such as radical feminism and intersectional feminism, which offer different viewpoints on issues related to gender and sexuality. It doesn't represent the whole school of thought and can't never be ignored for ignoring one big factor: the failure to consider the complex economic, social, and cultural constraints that many women face when making decisions. Plus, as women come from diverse backgrounds, what is the standardized definition of liberal choices? No one can decide. This place even assigns stage names to the dancers like Martha von Krupp, Decadance, Enigmatic, Starlet O'Hara, and Traumatise. Rather than recognizing their identities, they emphasize women's value, which primarily resides in their appearance, which even contrasts the modern concept embracing your own beauty and forces women to align with stringent beauty standards. Thirdly, the word liberal themselves means being free and open, so it's contradictory that stripping, if considered a form of art, is primarily restricted to places like bars and clubs, often catering to a wealthier audience rather than the general public. The liberal feminism spirit is also degraded in the way dancers have to wear heavy makeup for the sake of keeping their identity confidential, and have assigned stage names only emphasizing their physical values. By heavy, I really mean it's as their makeup creates a uniform corpse of dancers, as you can see in this picture. Also, if Striptease is as prestigious and worthy of public admiration as the statue of David and Venus, it doesn't make sense that strippers, the artists, want to hide the real self and escape the industry, when life doesn't revolve around financial hardships. Do you think artists like Picasso, Pablo, and Leonardo da Vinci would want to hide their identity, or take great pride in themselves with their artworks? How about the point that stripping is good, as Beyonce is inspired by Crazy Horse, later performing for her husband and incorporating some scenes into the MV Parition? Firstly, as I've said, not everything celebrities do is good. Secondly, while Beyonce's purpose is celebrating her postpartum figure, which was yet to be in shape. And thirdly, she wanted to exude the charm only for her husband, no other viewers, and no tickets sold. And Lisa? Her versus Beyonce's intentions are obviously unmatched. Fourthly, for those who argue that if Crazy Horse is not vulgar as women, especially those with influences and wealth like Katy Perry, Lana Del Rey, and even Zendaya, who called herself a feminist, also paid to be there. I think this doesn't justify well, as this is just a marketing strategy of Crazy Horse de Paris. They are targeting female clientele. Why? Because the voluntary participation of women legitimizes the club's actions. Men may still view strippers as objects, but because women support this performance, the club can argue that they are doing nothing wrong. Anyone hinged on this reasoning should closely examine what happens before and after this decision to avoid misjudgment. Yes, Lisa's defenders are again completely right that stripping isn't necessarily something degrading and vulgar. But what they are wrong about is not understanding how stripping simply as a job is done to put bread on the table. Stripping isn't and has never been some grand representation of larger ideals like feminism. And I'm not saying this particularly for stripping, but also for other jobs. A financial expert doesn't work to change the world outside, and neither does a stripper. Looking at one of Lisa's crisis performances and her outfit, what do you think it represents? The meaning behind crisis is that when Lisa, a young office worker, finds herself stressed by the stock market's turbulence, she then resorts to striptease and sensual moves. The market, seeing this, will recover. If it's truly about feminism and how women are as capable as men, why didn't she raise capital, attend shareholder meetings, and delve into market research to find a way out? How does striptease on her office desk even help the stock market recover? When you, and particularly men in the audience, watch her dance, will you all think she is the epitome of empowerment or a person stripping for money? It's ironic that while countless anonymous strippers struggle and are drained after each shift, only waiting for the day of making enough money to leave this job, leave the whole past related to it in the dark. Crazy Horse D-Petty is boasting about itself as the pinnacle of artistic nudity, and Lisa is helping there rebranding the objectification of women in the name of art. Again, I welcome contributive discussion. You can disagree with me, but shaming would be blocked. So let me know, is Lisa promoting feminism or objectification at Crazy Horse Paris? Now this is BeBoss, and see you next time!